so this is that High Elf Assassin, right? 0.19 is the version of the game that we're playing. And we have these are our skills. You know, it's kind of wild because I wasn't sure which direction I was going to take this character, so we trained an awful lot of fighting. But the thing is, High Elves are really built to cast, you know. Technically they've got good like bow apt and good long blades apt, but really you want to cast spells with them. A lot of people don't know this because, well, High Elves haven't existed for a little while. Anyway, you know, our aptitudes are really quite nice. And I could even probably make statue form work with this dude, even though he has a -2 earth apt, because my transmutations apt is +1. It's going to be kind of annoying at first, but it makes the most sense. I kind of have a lot of options, but you know, let's get the Book of Changes anyway, because you know what we really want is we want sticks to snakes. It's going to allow us to survive just about any situation. Also, let's memorize Blink. Yeah, Idor, you're thinking of Sludge Elves. Now, I wish that this character was a Sludge Elf, because then our transmutation apt would be much better, and I think that our Earth apt would be good too. Anyway, oh right, I don't have the ability to do training targets in this version. I wanted to get my spells hungerless because of Gozag. Also, I wanted to cast Repel Missile. Why don't we get that up? There we go. So anyway, we're going to want this Transfigurations book. We're not going to buy it yet because it's not like we could cast Irradiate or Statue Form or anything yet. Your team would be good, but your spellcasting would be bad. Huh. I didn't know that about Sludge Elves. Interesting. Anyway, let's just train Transmutations and spellcasting. Not that my spell hunger really matters that much. But, you know, whatever. We can get some stabs on ogres and things, that's good. Can I get the stab on this necrophage? Nope. That's a bit of a disappointment. Let's do this, which I should have done anyway. You know, come to think of it, I could just, like, halberd these dudes to death. Try to remember what keys I had stuff on. No shields or bucklers or anything yet, sadly. Now check this out. We've got some enchant weapon. I'm real tempted to use it on the blowgun. I mean, we're not going to be using throwing bows, so I'm not sure how much it matters. I should probably just, you know what? I should just enchant up this dagger. What am I doing? You know, because I have like 1 curare. Not enough to really matter. This is okay. You can't really go wrong cheesing Conjure Flame. It's quite nice. To be honest, I should probably train a little more conjurations. Because look at this, I can't really magic dart this dude to death, can I? Although, you know, I wonder. Oh yeah, we can do this. Okay, short bow it is. Uh-huh. Well, dang. Let's pull these guys. Oh boy, this dead gaming. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Tone? Are you saying DCSS is dead? I don't know if I would disagree with that. It's never alive to begin with. Oh, it will be once my fork goes live. Ah, shit. What am I doing, dude? I'm letting these guys drain me. Already playing like crap. It's very bad, considering we really, we really need spell power. That's okay though. This pack ought to restore my experience. Thankfully, we're not miscasting. Okay, I lied about it restoring my experience. We're actually kind of seriously drained. Then again, this might be before drain had a gray level. Like yellow might actually be the lowest in this version. Tone, why were you disappointed with magic in this game? Is it because it's better to just go statue form? Or because it's like kind of tedious to use, perhaps? Okay, we haven't found helmet boots or anything really. So let's go down. This is 0.19 tone. I'm kind of forced to play this version because of the fact that you know what? I shouldn't be using the short bow. I'm using up my arrows. What I should do is I should be using a sling. That's okay. We'll use the blowgun for now. Even sicker, as sick as possible. I'm actually going to run out of needles. Little sergeant as sick as possible. Sadly, I can't use my halberd because, you know, that dude has a spear of pain, actually. Bro, the wyvern just walked right through and got 2 moves. I should have, I knew that was possible. Let's make some friends. Okay. This is really, really, really unfortunate that Erica decided to show up here. Let's kind of think about what stuff we've got. We got 4 potions of curing. Got a teleport, we got a fear. She's got the ability to do something like 45 damage to us, I think. Maybe I should make sure. Erica. Yeah, let's say 45 damage. A little bit less, actually. This isn't so bad. We could wand her ass and probably take her down, although she's got pretty good MR. What we really want to do is paralyze him. And then what I can do is I can dig my way to the staircase if need be. Okay, actually I can just step into the flame. No problem, we'll rest up. Okay, so that's a little annoying. But we have our missile. Could we kill her with snakes? You know what? Hold on. Let me drop this stupid bow. Look for a sling. Okay, yeah, we still have bullets, so that'll save me the trouble of using up arrows unnecessarily. We're going to spam her down with sticks to snakes if need be. In fact, she should still be around. Oh, my spell power's crap. Snakes can't send? Well, doesn't he? I'm going to blow your mind with my wild and crazy snake tactic. You'll see. Do you believe that I can make snakes see invisible? Well, it's not a problem yet. Okay, let me show you the plan that makes snakes see invisible. First, I tell them to run behind her. Then they don't do that for some reason. Well, the trick is that you make them run. You get them to be behind the thing that is attacking you, and then you tell them to like come back to you. This is really shitty positioning for it though. So let's think of something else. Scrolls. Emulation is not identified, so you know what? Ho ho ho. That'll do it. Hey, they died for a good cause, Tone. Which is helping me win the game. Hey, it's Pikel. It's Pikel with a whip of electrocution. Sadly, I get nothing but pythons here. Hey, that was a good use of an ammo scroll, Adort. You don't think so? I feel like it was. You know what? This is dumb. My spell power is just... it's just not good enough to make the kind of snakes that I want. I was kind of hoping this was an old enough version that Gozag would give me gold from the slaves. Rune shortbow, I don't care what that is really. That is Yosef, who I assume can do pretty good damage in this version like usual. What do we do about him? I think I'm going to check and see if this staircase is safe. Okay, this is a reasonably safe staircase. What I'm considering doing here is kind of dumb. Basically, I was going to run him out of bullets. I wonder if we could just paralyze him instead. Probably not. I'm using these sort of obnoxious old-style wands where it's like I waste the charges, and I don't know if there's any charges left even. Well, actually, I think that it's impossible for it to have no charges left, because I don't think that recharge scrolls exist in this version. No, they do. Okay. Does this mean yellow wands exist in this version, like teleport, heal wounds, things like that? I don't remember. I don't remember when those were taken out. Okay, let's use the blowgun. Slavery isn't that bad, Pikel says. I'm starting to think this Pikel guy is a real jerk. Is haste spell in this version? That's a good question. Yeah. No, it's not. This spell is not found in any books or rods. I feel robbed. Glowing robe. Let's try this robe on. It's not better than magic resistance. Hey, there's a scroll of emulation. Oh, we found heal wounds. Good. I need to drop some stuff. I have an enormous amount of garbage in my inventory, so we'll start with this flail. We're going to drop this plate armor. I think I'm going to keep everything else for now. You miscast Conjure Flame. What a shame. Bro. Okay, that's big damage, actually. How much damage can a hog even do? That thing did like 20, 30 damage to me. Although I think I took damage from... Okay, that only did 14 damage to me. I think I took damage from my miscast as well. I miscast Conjure Flame. Lukewarm flames ripple all over your body. Okay, that didn't do damage. You miscast Mephitic Cloud. You feel a strange surge of energy. No. The hog just hit me twice. Okay, so hogs are fast. I forgot about that. Speed 13. Technically, we could die here. We don't want to die here. Tempted to blow a fear. I'm going to blink. I'm going to fail to blink, and I'm sufficiently scared now that we're going to fear. That was kind of a waste, but what are you going to do? Let's just go up. I know that hog was almost dead, but I don't know what to tell you. I was afeared, you guys. Also, let's drop the minor magic book. This is a version of the game with without the spell library, so. Okay, one hog I'm less worried about. Dude, if I don't stop miscasting, let's turn off spellcasting. Let's learn some translocations, because I'm totally sick of miscasting blink. There we go. Let's pop on the Dagger of Venom. Gotta remember, they can actually do 28 damage to me. Because they can hit me twice. Okay, there's Joseph. Forgot to pick up that helmet. That was a mistake. Okay, guess what? Snakes have really good EV, so using them to block bolts doesn't really work too well, unless there's a lot of them. kind of lost track of me. Okay, let's get the confuse on him. And this is super new, or super old confuse before the mega nerf, right? So he'll actually walk away from me a lot. I feel like this tile is different. This water moccasin seems darker. Man, I almost forgot how amazing Mephitic Cloud used to be. I mean, it's still okay, but it's not what it used to be. Devs whitewashing tiles, yeah. Yeah, they are. How dare they? Okay, so we have Joseph's awesome hunting sling. You know, having a +4 hunting sling is pretty nice. Well, a branded one as well. So we can do this now. It's super easy. Okay, I'm annoyed by the sheer number of food types here. We're gonna have to make it work though. I think we can drop random effects now. The yak trapped you in the pen. I kind of trapped myself in the pen because I chose to blink and it sent me back there. I'm Rorschach, man. I'm not trapped in there with him. He's trapped in there with me. Alright, we dropped the wand. Switch don't stack in this version. It's one of the good things the devs have done is the quality of life stuff. Although a lot of that has come from sort of outside contributors rather than the dev team itself. Alright, stuff looks good. Let's go down. No boots yet. Hey Wesley, you really haven't missed much. I haven't been doing this for very long. Breakfast at midnight, huh? It's really something, man. Basically just cheesing Conjure Flame. Plus this awesome hunting sling courtesy of Joseph. Yeah, that's a fair point, Wesley. I do like breakfast food, and it's good for you. As long as you avoid, you know, bread. Let's see, blink is 2%. That's probably good enough. I really want Conjure Flame to be slightly more reliable. Maybe I'll take Fire to 5 and then Conjuration's a little bit higher. Eggs, and more eggs, yum. What about bacon, man? Man, straight to that yellow drain. Either I got drained more than you do in the modern versions, or yeah, okay, I just verified it. That's yellow is the lowest there is in this version. There's no little gray option. Very interesting. Oh, I'm starting to lag here. Hold on. Yeah, gray drain didn't exist back then. I'm like 99% sure now. On to paralysis. All right. I really want to start thinking about identifying some of this stuff, but you know, it's sort of an issue because I don't have any identify. And so I'm forced to wonder, well, we've got these wands, right? I have to wonder, like, should I drop some things? Should I not? You know, I have to admit that the inventory management has gotten a lot better over the years. A lot of the problem with my inventory management right now is that I'm just carrying a ton of crap I don't need to be carrying. Let's drop tomahawks. Yeah, that'll do for now. There is a box of beasts, which is quite nice to have. I think they might stack in this version, which it's good. Although once upon a time they didn't stack. Actually, wait, do they stack in the modern version? No, yeah, they do. Oh man, I still want Wand of Flame. This is early enough that I want Wand of Flame. Let's drop Slowing. I won't use that. Hey, Rainy Day, how you doing? Playing a High Elf, man. I swear these tiles look a little bit different. Don't these killer bees look a little bit different? Like darker somehow? Maybe I'm just crazy. I made the mistake of playing a necromancy-based build under Gozag. That can sometimes be okay. I mean, there are necromancy spells that are quite good that don't need corpses. You can make it work. It's a little awkward, but like I considered doing it on this character, because check this out, like we found a +9 Flail of Pain, you know? So like going necro even on Gozag might have made some sense. Eye of Draining. It's just free experience, really. Sort of strange to see one all alone in the dungeon. Alright, so here's a great example of a monster that I haven't seen in forever, and I kind of forget how they work. Well, I don't, because I played Mumo challenges in recent history, but like Hill Giants, it's easy to forget that they can have nets. They're no joke, man. So we want to make sure that we don't just get wrecked by this dude. So why don't we open up with a lot of snakes. Is he not gonna... Oh yeah, I was gonna say he'll go into the flame, right? Have fun, guy. There you go. I think I probably was more cautious there than I needed to be, but you know what? I don't take any chances with giants. Yeah, no, I know they can have nets, doesn't he? Because my most promising Mumo challenge ever ended from a from a net thrown by a hill giant. I like how animals are sometimes dumb enough to go into the Conjure Flames. Free kills, really. You run the meme bot, right? That's correct. How are you liking it? I run it on Barotato. I also run it on CXC. How hard is it to program a WebTiles bot from scratch? Very easy. I didn't make it from scratch though. It's based on someone else's code. But like if I had wanted to, I could do it from scratch in like a day probably. Does it communicate with the WebSockets endpoint or Telnet? I want to say WebSockets. It also talks to an IRC bot. Essentially, it's just a relay, you know, to a different bot in the IRC channel. But yeah, in terms of interacting with Tiles chat, it's working off WebSockets. So it's like if you've done socket.io programming, it's really not that complicated. I don't think you can use Telnet to get into WebTiles chat, can you? Had an idea to make a bot that lets you leave messages for players. It's pretty cool. I mean, if that's something you're interested in, I could always add that to meme. Although I have a suspicion that could be used, you know, like maliciously. Like people leaving derogatory messages for each other. Not that I would care, but like, well, I would care actually, because people would get the impression that I'm the one doing it, you know. So I don't know. Put rate limits on it. Yeah. I mean, I guess you would probably just like, if someone was doing something like that, you deal with it from there. Probably nobody would, but and then of course there's the question of like, would there be an expectation of privacy? Which of course there wouldn't, because it's like a public chat thing. But I could see people getting annoyed if there wasn't, you know. I don't know. That's something to think about though. That's an interesting idea. They have something like that in IRC, you know. Yeah, that's true. Rainy day. So we actually found a fire book. You know, we found the starter book, which is funny because I was thinking about going flame, and we also found a book of the clouds, but we're pretty deep into transmutations now, to the extent that we're going to have some pretty strong snakes at this point, so we should just keep going with that. You know, I'm curious, statue form, is it below 100%? It's at 99. That's always a good sign, you know. That is a sign that you're about to make it. It's going to be a little while yet, but you know, if you're below 100%, that means your training is starting to pay off, you know. Okay, I want to wear ID the spear, but I also don't, because it could be like disto. So let's not do that. What I am going to do though is I'm going to spend some of my hard-earned Gozag cash on transfigurations. We'll learn stat form. We'll actually learn a radiate. Radiate's awesome. And to be honest, I bet we can cast it. Can we cast a radiate? Oh my god, we're almost there. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, there you go, Wesley. It's all about the stat. This is stat form of the stream. This is actually a high elf assassin. This is the 11th game in the streak that Elliptic ran back in 2015. The idea being to copy all of his games. So I had to play a high elf, which means I had to go to an older version. But don't worry, my stat form shenanigans still work in this version. Assassinate your enemies by hiding as a statue. I like that. That's the actual plan, man. You know what? This is why I kept this Wand of Flame in my inventory, to take out those guys. Also, we finally found some boots. You know, let's drop this halberd. Let's wear the boots. Let's drop stones. Sling bullets would be good enough. Although I am kind of using them as like a bread and butter type deal. Let's just, yeah, we'll put the dagger on A and we'll put the sling on B, and then we'll just kind of tab into things with the dagger unless they're truly difficult, you know? What's a good combo for first ever Kiku win? Well, rainy day, I would play a Necromancer for sure, because then you're sort of guaranteed to have access to more useful spells. Kiku will, as far as I know, I don't think Kiku will give you a spell that you already have. After that, I mean, it just depends on what kind of character you want to play. I'm actually sort of the odd man out when it comes to Kiku, because I believe that the best way to play Kiku is as a pure caster. Kiku can give you redundant spells, he just won't give you racially useless ones. Interesting. Hey, Mr. Alstrom. Yeah, sorry, I can't turn ads off, and Twitch gets to steal my hard-earned viewership. One day, perhaps, I'll be a partner, but I need more subs and I need more viewers for that to happen. Anyway, and once I'm a partner, the ads that actually support me. One of enslavement, that's good. But yeah, it really depends on what kind of guy you want to play for which character, which Kiku guy. If you want to be a pure caster, probably the most fun thing you can do is just like a deep elf, or like a mummy even, although probably more like a deep elf. And then, you can just enjoy bolting people for enormous damage with Bolt of Drain, and then you can like power your way to, once you get max Kiku piety, you could start using the Necronomicon spells immediately. Haunt, you use Haunt enough times, and an Orb of Fire will die. It's pretty awesome stuff. But, that's not the only way to play. If you want to play a hybrid, which is how most people play it, most people don't go, as far as I can tell, they don't go for the Necronomicon, they go for Pain. And I think the Necronomicon is best because it kind of solves the game for you, right? But then again, Kiku's other stuff solves the game for you too. Like Simulacrum plus Corpse Call will kill just about anything. Enchant Armor, okay. You know what, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to enchant up my Robe of Magic Resist. Let's see. How to play Gozag. I mean, there's a ton of different ways to play Gozag. He's just really good. I mean, take advantage of Potion Petition when necessary. Use Bribe to make Zot super easy. It's hard to go wrong, really. Evo is infinite. I don't know what you mean by that. I never quite figured this out. Are you a professional programmer? I know Quasar Print and a few others are. Depends what you mean by professional programmer. I freelance sometimes. I do in fact have a master's degree in computer science, so I guess you could call me a professional programmer. I mean, my actual job title when I had a regular, like normal job was technically software engineer, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of do my own thing. I try to make money off the internet in various ways. Are you a real artist? Professional means you do it for money. Well, I have in fact gotten paid for programming, so I guess I am a professional programmer. But I mean, most of the programming that I do these days is just stuff for me, stuff for my own projects, which, I mean, are usually geared towards making money. I do a lot of full stack stuff, like lamp stack stuff for my own websites and things like that. which, believe it or not, can involve a fair amount of programming depending on what shenanigans you're wanting to do, if you want to call PHP programming anyway. I mean, it is. Just kind of a joke. Still no shield, you guys. What a shame. Also, check out this cool vault. You know, I don't get food, but this vault started with a wand of disintegration that's empty. Wow, this is actually kind of a funny vault. Why would they remove this? Ah, they removed it because empty wands don't exist anymore. So it's like a meme, though. You know, there's chunks everywhere, like somebody used this wand up, blowing things up. It's so cool. I love it. Hey, here's our first Hydra. Now, obviously meleeing a Hydra is not going to work out, but you know what? We have 223 arrows, we have really good spell power. Now I show you that snakes can kill a Hydra. Although things are being a little bit complicated. Okay, there we go. Things were a bit complicated there from the other add-ons that showed up. Oh my god. I have a feeling I'm probably going to take out invisible wizards, orc wizards in my own fork. All right, check this out. Check this out. This is amazing. This is an amazing shop. Here's an amazing example of why Gozag's awesome. I find a shop. Something's worth 1,235 gold. It's really good. That's a really great item. Most characters come across this thing though, they're not going to be able to afford it for another couple branches. But me, I'm rich as hell. Boom, I just buy it. You know? Netting me 3 AC and a bunch of slay, which is actually quite nice with my sling. And you know, on top of that, we'll buy that, and we won't buy the helmet, but we will buy the shield. Pop the shield on. Shield's amazing. Just kidding, the shield sucks. Well, the shield is both amazing and it sucks. It's Star Corrode RF-, that's miserable, but it's +5 and it's got 5 int on it. So it's kind of like a hunk of gold that's been flushed down the toilet and is now like covered in crap. You know, there's so many good things about it, but so many bad things about it as well. So I think we're probably not going to use that. Although we do have the Ring of Fire to counteract it. We don't have RC Plus to counteract the Ring of Fire. So maybe we'll like hang on to it. I kind of wish I had bought this hat instead. Oh well, we got our gloves. Can't complain about having the gloves. Effectively, we've got a +9 hunting sling of velocity now. Quite nice if you think about it. Ring of Fire and no Fireball, sad high elf. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seriously considered just going for it, but I decided it wasn't the right move. Hey, Ring of Positive Energy. Bunch of stuff I don't care about. Hey guys, feast your eyes. Feast your eyes on the beautiful and rare mottled dragon. Isn't he purple, you guys? So this guy is no longer in the game. Resistant to poison and fire. He can actually use sticky flame on you at range. So, you know, he can do powerful things to you. Not to me, though. I just make him die. from the power of snakes. Identify. I'm going to identify the spear. I was hoping it was plus int, but it's actually just garbage. You know what, I'm going to keep this flail in my inventory because I want the invisibility maybe. Also, you know, I'm going to flame irradiate, you miscast, and he does just a crap load of damage to me. Para. Oh wow, he is doing, whew, he's doing like near max damage to me. What can he do, like 44? Hold on a second. Large slime creature. Yeah, it's 44. I don't think Irradiate hurt me on the miscast, although it certainly can. The slime got quite lucky and hit me for really good damage. I was hoping that I would not be like killable right now. I think I've made a very bad mistake. Because if I walk away, he could get random energy on me and kill me, you know? So I have a few unfortunate choices I could make. Heal wounds will guarantee that I won't die. At least until next turn. But I don't have a blink scroll, so I've actually screwed up really badly. Let's, you know what's also bad is we don't have Potion Petition available. This is all completely optional. But I screwed up anyway. Fear will probably get him off of me. Let's use a heal wounds. Okay, that worked out. This is perfect. Okay, good. Kind of a waste of a heal wounds, but not really. But that's just how the game works, man. When you're trying to be as careful as possible, if you screw up, then you're going to have to use resources to really ensure that you can't die. How does a slime fare against a lignified dude? You get a lot of AC and GDR. A regular one doesn't fare very well because you've got like 20 plus, like 25 AC-ish and a lot of GDR, as you say. But then once they start to merge, you really don't want to be a tree next to like a very large slime creature. Because like that GDR matters a lot less when you're up against like, you know, when you're up against like 44 or 66 damage. Hey buddy, maybe I should look up exactly how much damage a gargoyle's stone arrow can do. Because you know what? I'm not sure. 3, 12, 12, 24, 36. Okay. I could try to para him. They killed me on stairs in B-Crawl. Titanic slimes? Yeah. Yeah, they're no joke. I don't know why I tried to make snakes. What a mistake. There we go. What a strong and resilient sort of gargoyle he was. How is Hepliaqua, whatever? He's okay. I would say significantly worse now that he sucks up some of your hit points, but back in the day he didn't do that. And then he was quite good. He's pretty good already. I mean, is it just me, or is a god that doesn't have an emergency panic button automatically much worse? Well, Hepliaqua actually kind of does have a panic button, insofar as you can switch spots with your buddy. and your buddy can be switched with enemies. So being able to move around it's quite nice. Okay, blinking is just not working out for me. Wish there was a way I could kill these things a little bit faster. Okay, this works. Just need this dude to like be held in position because I can't tank him in this robe, you know. Summon Scorp can only summon one at a time. There's Summon Scorpion in this version of the game? I don't remember that. Summon Scarabs, but that's an enemy spell. Oh, it's a bee crawl thing, okay. But yeah, I mean, I guess Happily Aquana is still quite good even with the HP suck, but I've never been able to really get behind it because it's just, I don't know, it feels really tedious, and if I want to use a tedious god that just wins the game for me, why am I not just using Retamule? You know? Dude, are you kidding me? Why is he not dead? Okay, we'll use Fear. That was a really, 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 really dumb mistake. I keep thinking I'm like a turbo tank or something. Let's be a little bit more careful. I will say this about Happily Aquana. I really like the fact that I really like the fact that you get with the Hexer, you get anti-magic at level 27. So like, hey, there's that net. So long story short, Orbs of Fire, you know, you can just kill them with your Ancestor and that's it, you know. Do the same thing to electric golems. It's quite nice. We've been training like a ton of transmutations, like I mean a lot. I think it's about time to get some earth in. The goal is to get stat form castable. Although, you know, I should train some more transmutations as well because I'd like to get a radiate down to yellow, or down to not yellow. Tiny bit more conjurations. Okay, Scroll of Fog, Scroll of Silence. I'm going to buy both of these just so we can know what they are. Potion of Agility, good. Slowly identifying more things. Not real happy with my haul in terms of like escape tools. The fact that we found no blink scrolls is actually quite sad. But I can't complain too much about the loot. You know, we're doing quite well in terms of that overall. Can we kill a skeleton warrior just with snakes? Probably not if he has an axe, which he does. Sif got a new ability in Trunk. At 4-star for 12 piety, cast any spell in your library with 0% fail and boosted spell power. That seems sort of broken as hell. Is 12 piety a lot? I don't actually know the numbers. That sounds like a lot. Is that like Apocalypse level? Or more like Smite? 12 piety is a lot. How much does Apocalypse take? Like compare it to that or whatever the Smite targeted thing Kazlel has is. Sorry, I meant to say I was saying Apocalypse, but what I meant to say was Disaster Area. I get the two names. I don't really get the names confused. I just say the wrong thing sometimes. I know that Apocalypse doesn't take piety. That's the Rue thing. It's very easy to get those confused, by the way, because the effect is largely the same. You know, because Disaster Area just like clears the whole screen, and then Apocalypse essentially does the same thing. I mean, there are slight differences, but anyway. Lair's on D11. I have no reason to be on D12, so we can just forget this guy. Except, I want to go back to D12 for just a second. If I can kill this unfortunate Cyclops, alright. Dude, there's so many. It's a whole pack. Of course it's a whole pack. Yeah, doesn't he? That is funny. So I guess you can break into Zottrap vaults again if you decide to if you decide to go for Sif Muna. Can I kill these dudes? Not really. Can I cast Rapid Decon? No, I can't. Oh, this version is before BVC, so I can't rely on that. That's not going to come up. Just a good thing to know. I guess I could probably kill these dudes with snakes, since they don't have axes. Let's pull this guy up. Let's blink. Oh, if he's just going to stay there, we can do this. Seems cheesy, but if he's going to let me do it, then fine. I guess I'll pull this guy up and blink. And then maybe do like the same sort of thing to him. No, he decided to walk through it, okay. I think it's like every single turn there's a chance that they'll decide to walk through it. Yeah, there is. And they'll always walk through it if they're already in it. Hello, approaching Wraith. You're an annoyance. Okay, this is okay. Check it out. Okay, they'll take care of the Wraith for me. We'll walk away now. Unfortunately, this dude decided to break through right at the moment I didn't want him to. Maybe I can kill this guy now. Yep, we got him. There's another Cyclops. It does indeed. Do you happen to know if this is before floor spawns went away? Because I think it is. Like, I think that I think that I'm getting like more dudes spawning after the fact. Also, that's a good point about skeletal warriors. For some reason I was thinking like, yeah, they have relatively low hit points, yeah, they're intelligent, and yeah, the check ignores their AC. But for some reason I was thinking they had RF+, which is why I was under the impression that wouldn't really work, but I guess it does. There is literally one source of resistance penetration in crawl, as far as I know, that the player has access to. And that is Cerebov's sword, which is completely meaningless because it comes in a part of the game where, of course, you don't want to use it. Technically, I guess that you could, like, enslave one of those Naga guys and give your enemies our poise minus, although, I mean, is that really worth it? Technically, you could enslave a clown pie or a clown, or you could rely on, as Doesn't He says, a rogue clown pie, you know, as in it misses and hits your enemy and could apply RF minus. And then, yeah, miscasts, so that's not exactly reliable. I mean, you could force an enemy to have a miscast with, like, the wild magic card, but in general, you're better off just killing things with more conventional sorts of means. Dude, this guy is very rambunctious. I guess I should be thankful I have the gloves, since it's making this slightly less tedious. I mean, we're clearing them out. If this is tedious to watch, just like blame this completely dumb vault that spawns like a pack of skeletal warriors where they probably shouldn't be. Okay, so I think it's kind of obvious what I'm doing at this point. Every time he decides, you know, he works up the courage to go in, we wait until he's out of the flame, we walk backwards, wait till he's out of the flame, and then we make another flame in front of him. So he has to work up the courage to go back in. And if he doesn't work up the courage and the flame goes away, we just recreate the flame, and then we shoot him with the bullets. It's kind of a tedious process, like I said, but it's also one that works real well, so, I mean, it's good. Okay, we brought this helmet. It might be like Sin for something. There's another skeletal warrior. Alright, so it's a helmet of intelligence. It's not what I was hoping for, but it's also not bad. You know, that's increased spell power is what that is. That's increased spell success rate. Okay, this guy, we're going to deal with him in pretty much the exact same way. Can we, can't reach that spot. Let's back off, do the same thing. Soon we'll be in lair, where we'll have a much smoother, kind of less tedious time. Got him. Alright, it's not bad. I wish we had more gold, and I wish we had a buckler, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with where this character is. Statue forms at 41%, that's not half bad at all. Hey, Irradiate is 3%, that's really good. So now we're going to train nothing but Earth Magic. We're really going to focus that staff form down. Hey, Totori. It looks like the stream is dying. My work here is done. Is it lagging a bit? I guess it kind of is. But I'm curious, is that affecting the stream or just the gameplay? Let me know if my voice is like doing anything weird, like if I break up or anything. I can kind of do some troubleshooting. But yeah, Totori, you're like the harbinger of technical issues. You really are. I love having you here, but I feel like you're cursed. I mean, to be honest, it's probably just because I'm playing on Wi-Fi and I shouldn't be. It's a royal jelly. I guess we'll just eat that off the ground. We're gonna try to eat more of our food so we have slightly less stuff in the inventory. You know, like eat the things that we only have a few of. Beef jerkies, pizzas. This is Old Herald. Old Herald has Bolt of Fire and Nets instead of Mark. Much happier to see Old Herald. Let's put on our Ring of Fire. Let's see if Herald wants to deal with my snakes. Good buddy. Okay, he blinks away from the snakes. Then he dies. He dies from the poison. Sucks for you, nerd. Alright, Ice Blast doesn't stack in this version, so we're only going to carry one instance of it, so to speak. Wi-Fi streaming, bold move. You know, I almost never have a problem with it. Part of the problem is there's something weird going on with this Mac. The weird thing is that it's a Mac. No, I'm just kidding. Where like the Thunderbolt adapter that I use to have Ethernet is all messed up. I don't know if I need to buy a new one or if it's the Mac itself. And I just cannot be bothered to troubleshoot it when I'm going to be building a desktop for streaming soon, you know. But the long story short is like it's even more iffy on, you know, wired. Anyway, we just auto-explored into this 7-headed Hydra, which is very, very, very bad. Like, I need to blink, but that's not guaranteed. Fear is not guaranteed. I mean, this is just garbage. Oh, hey. Okay, check it out. Here's what we're going to do. We got random energy, but I don't trust it. We're going to use the telly. The telly puts us a little bit further away from him, but not that far. So it's time for snakes. Which will solve the problem for me. Okay, we just found a Berserk Potion. We just found Potion of Flight. Okay. I'm going to drop our Ring of Flight because my inventory is just all kinds of messed up. I had forgotten how quote-unquote fun inventory management can be in these old versions. You know, I don't often find myself praising the dev team, but that is one thing they've definitely done right, which is slowly fixing the inventory management issues. And you know, I'm sure I come across as kind of negative sometimes towards that group because, well, they're assholes, but credit where credit is due. That's hugely important. Quality of life stuff is hugely important, and it's been done, you know, I wouldn't say perfectly, but it's been done pretty well. Sticks to Snakes is just a big problem solver all the way through, like, S branches. Pretty much, Wesley, I would say it's, honestly, it's overpowered. I mean, like, I'd be curious to hear Doesn't-He's opinion on this, actually, since he's, you know, I think all three of us have a lot of thoughts about sort of rebalancing the game a little bit. Personally, I'd like to see I don't know, it feels like a really big no-brainer right now. I'd say that part of the reason, you're always talking about how StatForm is broken, but I don't think it is. I think that what makes StatForm seem broken sometimes is the fact that you've got things like sticks to snakes, which will allow you to survive a bunch of nonsense, you know, on your way to statue form. No problem, doesn't he? I'll give them no credit until they remove inventory limits. Toter, you forgot to say remove food as well. I'm going to be honest with you, Totery. After looking through the code a bit over the last several days, I have a strong suspicion that inventory limits only exist out of like pure laziness because they probably don't want to program bags into the game. And there's only so many keys on the keyboard, like in fact 52, I believe. So, I don't know. I don't think StatForm is broken, but I do think blasting is a little weak. Yeah, I agree that blasting is a little weak. I was actually asking your opinion on sticks to snakes, though. Would you agree with me that it's a little bit overpowered? Just slightly. Like, I feel like the easiest way to make sticks to snakes not broken as hell is to make it act like other summons, you know? But then again, I love the idea of the immolate plan with well, honestly, immolate should work on, like, if it's a scroll, it should work on summons. Maybe not if it's a spell. That's a little bit broken. S2S is only as strong as the arrow supply, but you wouldn't want to nerf the arrow supply for actual bow users. Yeah, no, I don't think I would. That's an interesting way to go about trying to change it, but I don't think I would mess with arrow supply as a way to rebalance it. For a few reasons, but including the one you listed. Let's drop Scrolls of Amnesia. I'm not carrying books, right? No, I'm not. Okay. Since we're going to be tearing out a lot of elements people consider to be difficult, traps, shafts, etc., I'm keeping an eye on unexplored mechanics to add some controlled difficulty back in. Yeah, I'd be all for that, man. What I don't want this to be, you know, we're making a definitive version of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, something that is just straight up better than the mainline game, which is stagnated and is kind of in the hands of people who don't care about the game anymore. What we're not trying to do is make like Dungeon Crawl easy soup where it's just an easier version of the game. I want it to have lots of difficulty, but I want that difficulty to be fair. You know, and by fair I mean like not, oops, you got shafted, bro, on D1. I mean, honestly, I'm almost like, I don't know, I like the idea of, I honestly like the idea of shafts and teleports as long as they're like attached to a monster that you can fight and you can work around, you know? Like, oh, I fought this monster for too many turns, you know, and he charged up his shaft attack, and now I'm getting shafted. You know, that kind of thing I think is just really cool because it's interactive, you know? Mental note: don't name it shaft attack. That sounds really lewd. But yeah, rainy day. I mean, that's an interesting thought too. The game is too hard for newbies and too easy for top-ranked players. I don't know. See, I don't know if that's a bad thing. And I'm sure that if you're, you know, if you're like more of a newer player, it might feel really just insanely frustrating sometimes. And I don't disagree. It is. But here's the defense. Here's the justification. I think that's part of the charm of Dungeon Crawl. The fact that it's this insanely hard game, or at least it feels that way, and that way it's like it's so rewarding mentally once you finally do figure out exactly what the hell is the secret, man. I imagine people who are new at this game and haven't won a game or have like played 1,000 games look at people like me or anybody who can win regularly like we're wizards, but we're not. We just figured out like 1,000 little tiny optimizations that make the game consistently winnable. And that's one of the reasons actually, that was one of my probably the primary motivation for making a YouTube channel in the first place, was that I wanted to show people like this is how you win the game. It's actually not that bad. You just have to learn all these little tricks. And I think that like if you messed with that, if you messed with that, like that formula, I don't know if the magic would be there anymore. Hey Caglin, welcome to the stream, man. Yeah, one floor down sounds fine to me. But I especially just want shafts to be, if I'm going to keep shafts in the game, I want it to be tied to an enemy. I want the player to feel like they had something they could have done to not get shafted, or to prepare for being shafted, It's not just like, surprise bro, you're in the middle of this really badly designed min-may vault. I hope you enjoy fighting things that were out of depth, that are out of depth to the floor you landed on, let alone the floor you came from, Like, think about how horrifying that is. You're not just fighting out of depth monsters in some of these vaults that you can get shafted into. You're getting shafted into monsters that are like twice as out of depth, in reference to the place that you came from, I mean, that is kind of a wild thought, I am lagging. Rainy Day said, we're losing a lot of new players when they play 100 games without a win. By the way, sorry, I'm just kind of like scanning the chat up and down. If I missed something, feel free to let me know that I missed it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you play 100 games without a win, that's, I imagine, frustrating, but unless you're just flailing at the game, you should be able to, in 100 games, go from like getting wrecked on the first 3 floors consistently to at least like reaching the lair. Not necessarily consistently, but like, pretty often. Or at least having reached the lair a few times. And I feel like if you can't do that, you're just not trying hard enough, Like, I feel like you're more flailing at the game than trying to figure out how to play the game. And that's something a lot of people do. They just kind of like throw game after game into the toilet because they get frustrated, and understandably so. If you play 100 games without outside help, it's unlikely you've won yet. I mean, that's true. I agree with that, but I don't necessarily know if that's a bad thing. I think that if you played 100 games and you made absolutely no progress, if from game 1 to game 100 you're just as crappy as you were in game 1, that I think would be a huge problem. But winning the game, I think, is supposed to be like your first win. Part of the magic of this game is that you can have this sort of mythology around winning, and not just winning, but getting like a 15 rune win. People can build this stuff up in their minds as this like vaunted thing that almost nobody can do because of how difficult it seems to be. And I honestly think that you would just like sort of homicide the magic of the game if you messed with that too much, I think that'd be kind of a mistake. Maybe you're right. I mean, I don't know. I can't say this stuff like it's, these are like just my opinions, I can't say this stuff like it's the word of the gods or whatever. But it's like, for me, I really do, I think that's just part of that almost hard to define magic of dungeon crawl, is just like, because I remember when I first started playing, I mean, I probably lost like 500 games, before I won this, because I wasn't going about it in a methodical way, because I was flailing at the game and not really paying enough attention. But then contrast that with a dude like ToneHack, who, to be fair, he had a little bit of help from chat, but for the most part, he was just like an experienced NetHack player who's very methodical. And the dude won the very first game of Dungeon Crawl that he played, So I know that kind of breaks your rule a little bit because you said without outside help. But I mean, it's not impossible. It's unlikely, but it's not impossible to win within your first few games. It depends on what kind of player you are, though. I mean, this game very seriously rewards methodical, slow, careful play. Just thoughtful, really, really, really thoughtful play. This game does not reward throwing your face against the wall a billion times. I mean, it can, and look at my buddy Waifugate, the guy I coached who is kind enough to host this channel sometimes. I don't know if he does this anymore, but what he used to do is he would like just play a bunch of games until he got a really good set of random items. So every time I saw one of his games, it would look like he had like the best luck in the universe, But really, it was just those were the only games that I was seeing. But it's like the mark of a really good player is when you don't have to rely on getting lucky, That's when you've really gotten good at the game. Is when you can have an unlucky game. Maybe you don't get enough consumables, maybe you just don't get the right gear, and yet you make a win happen anyway. Okay, I'm going to make this go away, and then we're going to let the snakes do this for us. I guess this is kind of a bad strategy because FanR could start refrigerating, but whatever. I mean, he'll probably die. Yeah, he dies. I guess we have a Staff of Cold now if I really need a RC swap, After a while you learn, holy fuck, these Orc Priests are assholes. Oh, hey, fuck these Orc Priest assholes. Yeah, they, I think they have the highest kill rate out of any monster in the game. Is that right? I think I read this funny thing once where this new player was complaining, and he referred to them as the green orcs, and I found that so funny because like the orcs themselves aren't green; it's just like the robes. But it was like this hilarious rant about like these green orcs keep killing me. But yeah, I mean that's actually a perfect example, I think, of a monster that the first few times you play against it, you're just not going to respect it, and you're going to get owned. There's a lot of stuff in this game that I'm going to say you almost have to die a few times too before you truly start to, respect the problem, so to speak. And I don't know if I'd even change that, I feel like that's just part of the charm of the game. And it's like if you're playing with extraordinary caution, extraordinary care, then you can get around that. But if you're not, the game eats you for breakfast, and I like that, I actually like that. It's easy to think the game is just sort of splatting you at random. It is, and that, I think that I talk a lot about how it's bad to make the player feel like they died and it wasn't their fault. And that's kind of an interesting thing to say, actually, because in Dungeon Crawl, you will feel like it's your fault. If you're a newer player and you're a person who gets frustrated easily, or maybe you just don't have all the information yet, you see all the time people complaining like, well, I died and it wasn't my fault. There's nothing I could do. And then like a really experienced player rolls in and they can tell you exactly what you did wrong, along the way. But it's not immediately obvious to somebody who hasn't played the game for like way too many hours of their life. So it's an interesting question, I think, to wonder like, eliminating those kinds of deaths where it's just like a newer player can get the mistaken impression that they couldn't have done anything, is that a good idea? I would actually say no. I think that like some amount of deaths are going to be inevitable where the person feels like it was unfair, but it actually wasn't unfair. And I think that if you can strive to eliminate the ones that are actually unfair, everything else will kind of fall into place. Like if you can always point out to a player like, look, you fucked up here, here, and here. If you can do that, and it's not really like super reaching, then I think you've created a game that's pretty good. Yara's Violent Unraveling good? It takes out debuffs and buffs alike, and damages things, and then mutates the thing. It's okay. In certain parts of the game, it's pretty fun. It's nice to be able to like turn off the haste on a like a deep elf sorcerer or something. You know, just be like, no, you're not hasted anymore. It's pretty nice. Goodbye, Gastronoc. Hello, Hat of Magic Resist. We're going to wear that over the Ent because, well, having MR is quite nice. Now we have 2 pips of MR, one from the hat, one from the robe. That makes us almost immune to Orc Sorcerers, which is quite nice because that gives us a free Orc. Yeah, Wesley. I mean, there's just a lot of ways that you can screw up in this game, and you know, like you said, not taking the obvious progression route, sometimes that's the move. But it also depends on how you define progression, you know. Like in terms of choosing which branch to go to, okay, fine. That's a big one. But then there's also more subtle things, like how did I skill my character? You know, there are some things that will jump out at a veteran player that a newer player might not even realize is like a good thing to do with your character, you know? And, bro. Alright, guy. There we go. But if you haven't developed that skill yet, then the game's going to like chew you up a lot, and you're not necessarily going to realize what's happening and why. Hey, Salty McScrub, thanks for the sub, man. It's been 2 months. Should we make this serious? Are you asking me to marry you? I appreciate the sub, man, by the way. I appreciate that. It's really cool. Salty is one of my favorite guys in this Twitch chat. He once just like went on a sub buying spree for like half the people in the chat. It was really cool. Serious question. What is the serious question? Is it about my Mac being laggy? Does strength affect crossbow damage? Yes, it does. Which I imagine is a little bit perhaps unintuitive, because you'd think it wouldn't. But strength affects pretty much all melee damage and range damage, unless it's a spell. So that means that on a character that's not casting spells, strength is almost always the right thing to pick, because it makes you do more damage, and doing more damage is good. But yeah, I definitely would say that strength affecting a crossbow doesn't really make any sense, you know. Hey, doesn't he? Maybe you just you pull back the line on the crossbow really, really hard. There's like an extra, there's like different notches, right? And you pulled it back to the back one. This is probably a terrible explanation because that's not really how crossbows work. So Dex is mostly a bad choice. Pretty much Caglin. Like the characters where you'll take Dex are very, very few and far between. Like maybe if you're like a character with really high dodge bonus and you just, or dodge training and dodge aptitude, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I've never, I mean, like if you want to stab for even more damage for some ungodly reason, like fine, you can get Dex because Dex affects it, I guess, but I mean, rainy day, I would say that if you're trying to do damage with melee or ranged weapons, you pretty much always want to get strength. Anyway, this is Wesley's favorite tile in the game. This is an old tile for Dream Sheep. He once told me that he aspired to make art as good as the old Dream Sheep, but he didn't think that he would ever be able to make such a beautiful tile because it's just so good and definitely not garbage. And this is not at all what you'll expect in our fork. No, this is funny because it's literally just like the old sheep, sort of inverted. Like the colors are just inverted. I'll never be able to achieve that level of mastery. Sorry. Yeah, you should feel bad. Oh God, he put me to sleep. Okay. Let's make snakes. Snakes. Damage got doubled. This is actually quite dangerous. I wish I had an acid wand. How much damage can a Dream Sheep actually do? How about that? I guess Dream Sheep are not in the... I guess this command is for things below 0.15, and then the at is for things after. Anyway, it's 26 damage, 13, and then double it. That's what I'm looking at here, so I think that we're safe to keep making snakes. Okay, now we're in trouble. Now we're in serious trouble because you got the Komodo dragon. You know, we could get wrecked. Hey, thanks, man. That's really cool, dude. Super, super appreciated. I'm gonna read Telly. Because, like, what I didn't want to do is get, like, double damage tagged by the Komodo dragon. I've had characters die that way. I think that was worth the price of admission, you know? Put to sleep again. A single Dream Sheep put me to sleep. That's a 1 out of 20, I think 29, maybe 26 chance. Not a big chance. What to acquire on Knoll? Armor? Honestly, on a Knoll, 9 times out of 10, I'd rather acquire book, because every book you get is probably going to be useful. I mean, you could go weapon, depending on what you're trying to do, what your start was. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question or a good comment, doesn't he? If one of your snakes gets enough experience, will the upgrade code apply to it? Will the adder become a moccasin? Because I think that can happen. I think if somehow your adder gets enough experience, he will actually level up into a moccasin. I could be wrong. But I remember looking through that code once and getting that impression. Pokey evolution. Well, I know for a fact that if you were to get... there are certain monsters that used to be... and I'm very sad that this is no longer in the game, and I'm probably going to put something like it back in. There were these things called mercenary cards that Nemelex used to have. Alright? And you could get like a little kobold buddy. Or you could get like a draconian buddy or a demon spawn buddy. And it was awesome. It was awesome because they could actually level up. You know, like your kobold would eventually become a big kobold. Your draconian, I think, would like level up into get a class, you know, like draconian annihilator. And my idea, well, actually, this idea originally came from Blokes. I thought about the idea of putting shops into the game that instead of selling items, they sell just mercenaries, you know, and you buy the mercenary, and maybe it's like, if you wanted to be really lazy about it, you could just make it an item that you use that summons a mercenary. But you know, like Bob's Mercenary Shop, and then you can get like a permanent. It was a permanent ally that followed you around for the whole game. And I don't know, I find that pretty interesting. It was hard to keep him alive, so it wasn't really broken. But it was you know, it was really thematic, you know. And it's a shame that that's not in the game anymore, I think. I'm sure something like that is like the code is still there, doesn't he? In terms of like the underlying code to advance monsters has to exist because it works for Gozag, or not Gozag, BOG. That's how like BOG warlords advance from knights, and knights advance from warriors, and so on and so forth. Same exact section of the code, I believe. Hey, we got party tricks. I don't need party tricks. We don't need butterflies because we have sticks. Okay, this is going to be a little awkward. In fact, why don't we just... Okay, that didn't work. Okay, we'll just do this. Fine. Probably don't want to irradiate more than twice. Enough stuff has died that we're going to get some distractions. Long enough to put up some flames anyway. Oh, I don't want to throw my nets. I'm out of ammo. Okay. Just let the snakes handle the rhyme drake. Wild magic with a wizardry ring on a knoll? See, like, I would be way more focused on just getting as much wizardry as possible. I know you didn't choose to get wild magic, that's just like a mutation, but I don't know, man. Stacking wizardry, if you can stack three wizardries on a knoll, it's usually pretty amazing. Because you're casting almost any spell you want that's appropriate for your level. Looks like all the promotions that aren't orc have been purged from the static array. Well, we could always put them back. I mean, I don't know, man. I like that. I might be the odd man out there, but I really liked that mechanic. Hey, good news, you guys. We have scrolls of blinking. And a ring of wizardry. Interesting. That puts statue form from 21% to 9%. That's pretty good. Let's put spellcasting on. Because we really want staff form to be hungerless, and that's going to take a good little while. Yeah, no, I agree, doesn't he? It doesn't make sense for an adder to promote to a moccasin, but I'm talking about things like support for kobolds into big kobolds, and like naga into nagas with classes and things like that. Yeah, Mr. Elstrom, I'm actually keeping that pain flail because I mean, I don't know if you're talking about, maybe you found a pain flail in your game, but in my game, I mean, +9 is quite nice in the early game, but I mostly kept it because of the invisibility. I didn't want to really go for necromancy on this dude on account of the fact that I went Gozag. if I hadn't gone Gozag, perhaps the story would be different. Oh, okay, so it is in your game. 6 Necro and plus 10 Pain Flail, plus 4 Dex. I mean, that sounds almost as good as an electric weapon, man. And it's plus 10, so yeah, you should use that for now. I mean, that sounds perfectly good on a null where you're going to be training necromancy anyway. Yeah, Wesley, that sounds good to me. Let's identify the scroll. Hey, it's the scroll of recharging. Blast from the past. Max level snake digivolves into Jormungand. No, he turns into the Nidhogger. You guys ever play that game? Let's enchant up the hunting sling. Okay, there is a torpor snail behind these dudes. Not so cool. I wonder... Yeah, he just does not give a shit. Okay. I mean, I knew that. He just has too many hit points to care. Deathyaks are no joke. Alright, let's make some snakes. Let's make a lot more snakes. Let's let our snakes stand next to these guys. Haha. Nice. Did they nerf null apps between 0.21 and now? I think that they... Depends what you call a nerf. I think that they... Yeah, no, I think they nerfed their spell aptitudes from 8 to 6 because the wizard start and the other book starts kind of had just incredible, amazing spell power to begin with. But to be honest, they had that anyway. But yeah, it used to be 8. I mean, I'd say gnolls are still just hilariously powerful. Easily one of the best species in the game. One of the most fun species in the game as well. Let's drop something. Looks like I'm picking up needles. We don't need to be picking up needles. Okay. Black Mambas are no joke. It's, well, it's good that we have Conjure Flame. Alright. Now we get to decide what we want to identify. Identify used to be much more of a commodity, you know. You had to pick if you were gonna identify wands or not to make sure that you could use their charges without wasting them. But I think that I think we take Enslave because Enslave's really good. Wand of Hasting. Yeah, buddy. Alright, let's turn off Disintegrate for pickup. Do wands recharge? You can recharge wands with the Scroll of Recharging. You know, it was a lot more fun because now I can haste myself as much as I want. if I am willing to spend recharge scrolls to do it, although I'm going to want to identify this wand of haste so that I'm not wasting charges on it. Still quite nice. The game used to be a fair bit more forgiving, to be honest. Which is why I kind of laugh when people say that the game's gotten easier, because it really hasn't. It's just gotten less opaque, so to speak. You know, like there's been so many quality of life changes that are just so huge. That's what's making the game quote unquote easier. So the game is not easier, it's just more understandable. You know, people can see like how much damage a monster does to them by XVing over it. So they don't have to hunt crap down in like a wiki or a LearnDB or some crap, you know, they can have a rough idea of like, can this thing kill me or not? And I think that that's what pushes the win rate up more than anything, is just like easily accessible information. Not like, well, I mean, honestly, like, because, for example, you can't recharge Wands of Hasting, heal wounds, whatever, that represents like a huge power nerf, so to speak. Let's turn on unarmed combat. It's about that time. I'm gonna have a good statue form going here. So this is a little unfortunate. We've got a fire crab here, but we have RF plus by virtue of this ring of fire, so let's just have our snakes try to kill this thing. And it's a little bit messy, but it works. This is layer 6, by the way. I don't remember if there's 8 floors in this version or not. There might be. Okay, let's blink. Pretty sure there's only 6 floors. Okay, this is another problem that Sticks to Snakes will probably solve for me, but you know what? We have 4 scrolls of MO. Why don't we use one? Just erase all these dudes. How about that? Nice. Wow, I am lagging quite a lot here. Maybe the server is lagging tonight, I don't know. Might be. You sound exhausted, but yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff today. I've been trying to do some stuff that sort of prepares me for... Well, I mentioned that one of the things that I do to try to make money online is I promote that one cryptocurrency exchange that I've used for a long time and trust, called Binance, but they kind of got hit with some regulations where they're making a new platform for Americans only, and I'm concerned about my referral links there. Like, I don't know if it's gonna I don't know if I'm going to get to keep my account in the long term. Seems like the answer is yes, but I'm not sure. So I've been doing a lot of research and setting some things up so that I can maybe do some other referral link type stuff. Doing research on other exchanges, things like that. It's not the only crypto exchange out there, you know, and it's, you know, it's just the problem is that the last thing I want to do is point people towards an exchange that's not reputable, that's not reliable. You know, the last thing I want to do is push people towards like an exit scam of some sort. That would be terrible. You know, because what I like to do is I like to search out what like the best in breed is, you know, for these kind of things, so that people know that they move their coins onto this exchange and they're not going to just disappear, you know. So if I talk about an exchange on my site, I want it to be like you can reasonably trust that you're not going to get screwed over. Like I don't make any guarantees because it's like I'm not psychic. I can't be anything can happen in the crypto world. But you know, it's like if you're dealing with, you know, Coinbase, for example, you know that they're subject to U.S. law. You know, so at the end of the day, they're accountable. You know, if you're dealing with Bitstamp, likewise, you know that they're accountable to certain regulatory agencies, whereas some fly-by-night exchange maybe isn't. And this is the kind of thing that people need to know to make an informed decision on where they want to trade, right? And you know, one of the reasons I always talked about Binance so much, it wasn't just because their referral program was good. It's actually like a really good exchange. And it's a shame that, you know, the U.S. government is just like so, well, really our regulatory agencies are just like so greedy, you know, under the guise of like protecting people, they want to make it so you can't trade commodities or can't trade certain coins because they're considered to be quote unquote securities. And it's a big complicated issue, but I don't really blame Binance for this. They just got so big that they couldn't remain out of the crosshairs of regulation. But the long story short is like a lot of coins are not going to be available to trade for Americans from that particular exchange anymore. And it's creating a really interesting situation where I think that there's going to be room for other exchanges to kind of, I don't necessarily think take over because Binance just does things too well, but they're going to have a bigger niche that they can kind of carve out if they're the only ones that where you can like buy certain cryptocurrencies. And so that's, if I sound exhausted, it's because I've been trying to read up a little more and decide exactly what kind of articles I want to put out there to like keep that, you know, keep the best possible exchanges on my site and not like some fly-by-night garbage. It's actually fine though because I don't know, I wrote this thing about this exchange called KuCoin, which I've used in the past. You might want to take a look actually. I think I may have sent it to you. I don't know. But they seem pretty good. And I think that one of the things that they're doing, and by the way, I know that not all of you guys are into cryptocurrency, so I apologize if you're bored or whatever. I'm probably not going to talk about it for much longer, but basically, like, one of the reasons why I think that they stand to be sort of at the forefront of the grab for Binance's old American users is that they're the very first, as far as I know, the first major exchange, the first reputable exchange that I've heard of so far to allow for the trading of Binance's coin, which Binance uses to reduce their trading fees and things like that. And this is really important because, like, Binance is an exchange. It's not going anywhere. I would bet on it personally. I mean, I'm not advising anybody else to bet on it. I'm just saying, like, I don't think Binance is going anywhere, even with this hurdle. I think they're going to release the American exchange. It's going to have less tokens and coins on it. But I think overall the business, they just do things too well. I don't think that they're going to disappear anytime soon. So I think that in the long term, their proprietary coin, like their cryptocurrency, is going to continue to rise in value in the long term. But in the short term, I don't know if Americans are going to be able to trade it. You know, at least not for a little while, because this is, you know, when they released, Binance has a lot of different platforms. They do a lot of risk management. Binance Jersey, which I think is their European platform, followed this sort of path where Binance Coin was not available on it at first, and then they did all the regulatory stuff, and then it became available there. So if I had to judge just based on like past performance, I suspect something similar is going to happen on the American platform, where it's just like it's not available at first, but then it is later. And what that means is, like, for people who want to trade that coin, and I imagine there are a lot of them, it's like, dude, I'm American, I want to trade Binance Coin. What the hell do I do? You know, if there's another large, reputable, you know, safe exchange to trade it on that's not Binance, that's great. You know, and so KuCoin jumped on that, and that's one of the things that really made me think, like, maybe these guys are gonna, you know, take the mantle of, you know, the cool sort of not so much know your customer type stuff, you know, not so much of a hassle to get an account made type exchange, you know, because that's one of the biggest things. It's not that you're like a drug dealer or something, you know, it's not that you're like a bad guy. A lot of people just don't want to do the KYC. You know, they don't want to send in their passport, they don't want to send in their name, they don't want to send in all their details, and again, they're not doing anything bad, it's just a headache, you know. But that's what the US government wants every one of these exchanges to do. And as a trader or whatever, like, you don't have to do that, you know. That's not the way these things are regulated. So you're not like doing anything wrong or illegal as just a person trading cryptocurrencies by not doing KYC. It's just like if the exchange has a business in America, they might catch some flack, you know. Let's teleport. Dude, holy shit, oh no. Talking too much. Let's drink a curing. Okay, there we go. Guess what? Dire elephants do a lot of damage. Yeah, nanny state salty. That's a good name for it. Like, I think part of it is political graft, where it's like these people just want their money. Holy shit. Dude, I could have died there. I didn't even see that there was a... Wow. Dude, I should probably stop playing soon. There was a torpor snail. I mean, and I just, like, autopilot irradiated and killed everything around me. That loot looks safe to ignore. Yeah. Hold on, let me deal with this situation and then get to full hit points. And then perhaps after that we'll... You don't have anything to turn into a snake. Oh no! No, no, no! Why am I not using statue form? How about that? Although not against this guy. Okay, okay. Alright, we rest up. Is that loot safe to ignore? But doesn't he? Don't I want the vaunted Storm Dragon scales on this character? No, I don't. Yeah, I agree. This is safe to ignore. And while I could probably like painstakingly kill all these elephants, I don't really want to. So let's just not. You know, I'm not getting enough of an experience benefit out of it to really trouble myself with it. I will do this though, since we're out of boys. Why don't we? And by boys I mean arrows. Why don't we get some butterflies? My summonings are not the best, but we can get a few. We can get like, yeah, we can get a couple. That's kind of enough to be able to go into a hallway at least and walk through them. And then Orc Sorcerers can still paralyze me, but like not really, you know, it's like 1%. It's possible. I don't like to take that chance, but on a character that's somewhat weak like this, I feel like we'd rather be an Orc than a Lair Branch. On the other hand, I have Statue Form available, so we could probably pound out Spider Nest, I guess. Let me, I mean, I'm probably going to stop for the night, to be honest. Like Doesn't He Said, out of missiles is a good time to sleep. I really have no way of killing this thing quickly if I'm not up next to it. Wow, he actually was doing okay damage to us through Staff Form. That's disturbing. All right. It's probably a good time to train some dodging, actually, in addition to unarmed combat. And by the way, Staff Form still costs like a absolute ton of hunger. I wonder if any staves are available. I guess not. Alright, well, I'm just going to drop this character off at the Orc Mines, and we'll call it a night. But yeah, no, this character's going pretty well. It's definitely one that I shouldn't be playing while tired, I'll say that much. I mean, this is... I don't want to say that High Elves are weak, but they were never a particularly powerful species. It's kind of squishy. Aptitudes are just a little bit awkward. Probably would have been a better call, if I'm being totally honest, I think it would have been a better call to go for, you know, make use of this +2 air aptitude and go for like some kind of blasting. I mean, Airstrike was available. It would have been just as awkward as this, but at least I would have had a nice aptitude while doing it. On the other hand, hold on a second. Gotta check something real fast. Well, you know what? Screw that. Screw everything I just said. Because you know what? Rapid Decon's available. However, this is the old version of Rapid Decon. So you'll notice this kind of overlay here where it's like it's light yellow and then it's not light yellow. So the irony here is that as much as I complain about the LRD nerf, it was a buff in terms of the damage. And on this particular character, I think I'd actually prefer to have the new LRD just to kill stuff. Although this will let us break into vaults, which is nice. Perhaps we can do some clever things with it. But this is like interesting because like I don't know exactly how big the explosion's going to be. It could blow up this much and not break the wall, or it could blow up this much and break the wall, erasing the tile and letting me walk through it. You know? Show us? You want to see? Alright. So yeah, it made a big explosion because it blew up the tile. That one made a little explosion because it didn't. There's no way for me to know which is going to happen. You know, it's all based on the spell power roll. You know what? It's based on my spell power and then how much I actually roll for damage and whatnot, I guess. So that'll be interesting. I still think that going to Orc is probably the right decision. Although I will say that if I go into Orc, I'm gonna have to be careful not to. I mean, I honestly don't want to go into Stat Form because that'll take away my robe of magic resistance, and we kind of need that. I don't know. Let me see what other earth magic is available. I guess I could get like Stone Arrow. That's probably a good decision. Let me see. Amnesia. I have a lot of spells, but Stone arrow would actually let me sort of bread and butter things to death. Slightly awkwardly, but certainly less awkwardly than magic dart. Like, it would give me a spell that would let me kill things. So let's amnesia off magic dart. Let's amnesia off call imp because we got the butterflies, which frankly are better for the most part. And then we'll get stone arrow. I'm tempted to get petrify as well. It's a little bit awkward, but it's almost like, why not? But I think we'll just keep the book and do that later because I don't have the spell levels for it. Guess I could take off Meph Cloud, but Does Slaying Song work on Spectral Weapon? I have no idea, Mr. Alstrom. That is a wild question. I doubt it. I don't think it has anything to do with like your slaying bonus except the one on the weapon itself. But I actually am not sure. Spectral Weapon is one of those things that's like, it's like the best spell that I never use, you know? Like, it's a perfectly good spell, but I just don't really find myself using it. It's kind of awkward to use, I guess. Oh, it's an amazing spell. It's essentially doubles your damage output, you know, more or less, but I don't know. I don't like it because it, you know, you take more damage with it out because things will hit that thing and you know, it can, it's like, I don't know, it's like, I can't say that I don't like it because you can block hexes with it. Like, you can do a lot of cool stuff with it, but it's just like way more awkward to use than some of your other options, you know? It can confuse enemy in the middle of the fight for one turn if it's not a Hydra. Yeah, no, I think it can confuse Hydras too, probably. It's the distraction or whatever. Anyway, that's going to be it for the night. Fun character, you know. Stronger than it looks, and I think it's really going to hit its stride soon. We're in for like a slightly awkward period still, maybe. But like for the most part, I think the game, as long as I don't screw up badly, the game is basically won. So we'll, you know, we'll see how it works out next time. But until then, I am signing out.
Did you know that there are many ways that you can help support this channel? Read about them on rosecrypto.com/support. At Rose Crypto, you can learn all about cool things like the Brave web browser, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.